All right, architecture students, let's talk resumes. Now, your student careers department, Google, everywhere is going to have advice on resumes. But here are the things that I think are not super obvious when you're an architecture student and you're working on your resume. So, the first thing is congratulations. If you've done your portfolio, you already have the fonts you need and the graphic hierarchy for how you're doing headers and body information. And so just reutilize that stuff because it's going to make everything feel cohesive. Make sure that you are including the programs that you're attending right now in your education section. It's super important for recruiters and hiring managers to know if you're in an NAAB accredited program, if you're going to be going back to grad school. All these things really matter. Totally include areas of interest or travel that you've done or notable studios or things that you feel are unique and interesting for your own journey that set you apart from others. When it comes to the work experience stuff, I want you to ask yourself one question over and over again, which is, what is the message I'm trying to send with this information? Why should someone matter, right? Think about it that way. So if you're looking at an internship, people are trying to understand what phases you've worked on, what project typologies, how big those were, what were the software skills, what were the types of meetings and the project management activities that you did. All of those things are super important. I almost always tell clients more information. So you want it to have lots of quantifiable things in it, numbers and information, multiple bullet points about the types of things that you did so that somebody gets as complete of a picture as they can of the skills that you gained, the responsibilities that you had, and any accomplishments or achievements that you had while you're in that job. When it comes to extracurricular activities, I think having come up in a time when extracurriculars were so critical for getting into college, students have a tendency to over include extracurriculars. So, my question for students is always, why is the inclusion of this specific extracurricular relevant to your job search, right? It's cool if you were your studio representative or you did a small part in the theater production, but what are you trying to tell potential hiring managers about yourself through including this information? Is it that you did set design? Is it that you led a part of the program? Is it that you started something up and you saw it through to completion? Or are you just using it to fill space? Because I find what happens is a lot of the times you'll get a lot of space filler extracurricular activities and not nearly enough information in your work experience. Now, what if you don't have work experience? You could create a section called relevant experience, and you could include the design charrettes, competitions, volunteer opportunities that you've had, all of the things that you could put together that really create what would be relevant work experience that would help you to gain the job. As far as skills go, I love it when people include their softwares, typically things like I'm detail oriented or I'm a good communicator, things that you show in a resume and not things that you would spell out. And do me a favor, and even though they're super cute and graphic, it's not worth it to grade yourself on those skills because your version of medium skills might be somebody else's version of you have incredible skills, or they might be so good at that program that your medium skills are beginner skills for that firm. And so I personally allow people to just, do you know it? Do you not? And are you learning it? Always include, of course, some indicator of whether or not the languages that you're using, you have proficiency that's beginner, business proficiency, fluency, native fluency, things like that is usually helpful. I haven't seen references on a resume. Of course, some people still say references by request, but it's been quite some time since I've seen those on a resume included. One column, two column. At the end of the day, honestly, I think it's really up to you and the magic that you're doing in InDesign. I will say that some companies are using ATS, so you can find ATS scanners for your resume and see if the AI scanning tools that some of these really big companies are using, if your resume would go through them, it'll tell you a lot about your formatting and about what's getting missed. But overwhelmingly, I think in architecture, we're still mostly looking physical PDF. So hopefully those things are helpful. It's a crazy document and it always feels like a stressful thing. So feel free to reach out. We obviously do a ton of material review at Out of Architecture. Your career departments can scan your resumes. And of course, trusted faculty members, mentors in your field, and former employers sometimes can be great resources for you too.